And I would argue that as a whole, Facebook has considerably fewer bugs. Considerably fewer problems with the game.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
We're going to start today with a discussion of the captains over on Hero Wars Mobile. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about territory conquest, and today we got some work in progress art for the captains. All right, so I want to talk about the captains a little bit because I've already gotten a ton of questions about the captains. First of all, this is a concept drawing, okay? This is not the final look of the captains. Remember, there's going to be 10 ships at launch of the territory conquest activity. These captains are tied to the various ships. So there's not 10 ships and 10 captains. A captain and a ship is always together, okay? So this tiger right here is tied to the ship, and it's not a separate thing that you have to collect and level up. Okay, this is just part of the story and the lore and the attitude of that ship, that flying ship. Okay, that's the story. That's everything having to do with that ship. Okay, it's not a separate thing it's not a separate unit to summon and level up. There is some leveling of the captain within the boat, within the concept of the boat unit, right? The flying ship unit, but it is not a separate thing that you have to rank up to 6 stars and get, different things for. There was some confusion initially about that. Why are we having heroes and captains and boats and titans? Why are we having all of this in one game mode? But that's okay. Another thing that keeps getting brought up is the cartoony nature of the look of this art. I'm going to say this again. This is a work in progress art. From my understanding, this is either going to be leaning into a new art direction that they're just trying to get feedback on, or they're going to, eventually tone this down into the look of the sprites that we see on Hero Wars, right? The look of the heroes on Hero Wars. These are just some initial designs. They were looking for feedback on these captains. I think that a lot of people are going to gravitate to a couple of them. I really like, this one right here. I like this one right here. This one reminds me of Rescue Rangers, like Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. You guys remember that show? From the 80s, from the 90s? I see somebody mention that this one kind of looks like Leon a little bit. The fourth could be Helios. Could be. Looks kind of like Helios, yeah. A little bit. This character reminds me of something. I can't put my finger on what. It reminds me of something. I don't know if it's a TV show or a cartoon. Thundercats? Lion-O. Okay. Is it Thundercats? I could see that. Again, we can't really levy much feedback yet on the territory conquest system, really, until we get more information. But I did want to give you a little bit of an update on the conversation so far. They have heard a lot of the feedback, and there's a lot of negative feedback having to do with this new game mode. They've heard the feedback. The internal testing that's been done so far, they've prepared a list of pieces of feedback that they're taking back to the developers, and they're going to implement some of it or not. Right. So those of you that submitted feedback over on the unofficial Hero Wars mobile Discord and on my YouTube video yesterday and this morning, the help is greatly appreciated, and know that things could always change in the future. Now, I will say that I did have a confirmation of sorts after chatting with the community manager, is that this game mode, and this is not going to be any surprise to any of you, but this new game mode, Territory Conquest, is not meant to be accessible by newer players. Now, when the Territory Conquest becomes available to you, it's obviously after level 30, because you have to be level 30 to join a guild. You obviously have to unlock the activity via a specific team level, because, as we know, the different parts of Hero Wars are unlocked as you play the game. The arena is unlocked at level 10. The tower is unlocked at level 15. The highwayman, I think, is unlocked at level 12, team level 12, and I think the outland camp is unlocked at level 18, I think, and so on and so on and so on. So it's not really aimed at new players, and the intention is a high level kind of thing. It's supposed to be like a high level player versus player option. Now, like I said, it's probably no surprise to anybody that this is going to be aimed at a higher tier of player. It just struck me as odd that they're not designing content for new player retention, which is what I initially thought that this was for. I don't know why I thought that now, thinking back after having a day or two to think about it. My big concern is always going to be player retention more than anything. People playing the game longer because they enjoy the game, and not playing the game less because it's not what they thought it was, or because it's just too much, which is quickly what it's kind of looking like, or because it's too expensive, or all those other things. I'm all for people having, fun, enjoying the game, and sticking around. Kind of figured there would be a whole new game mode that doesn't link to anything else. However, you can't complain about Hero and Titan changes and not get something like this. New always happens. That is a great point, D. Warman. Like, they're always going to add new content. They're always going to add something new, and it's always going to be, a way to gain revenue. It's always going to be a way to get money. As a business first, after all. We're just lucky enough to be available to play, to play along. Timothy says too much daily activity. It begins to be much like a work rather than a fun to waste time with. Yeah. So yesterday I kind of mentioned that, it may end up being a replacement of sorts for global championships, but until we see what the rewards are at this point, I think that global championships may end up being better because it's segmented per day. Instead it's one day, it's a 1 day thing. I was thinking of global championship as a week-long affair when it's technically a day-to-day affair. It's a game mode that's structured into the a single day. And a lot of people, I think, are just going to skip this new game mode. Somehow the Facebook version with its pets and Ascension managed to be a lot less time-consuming. That's because the Ascension system is built so that you can technically, log in 2 days, Thursday and Sunday, and spend a half an hour and be completely done with it. Because whenever you go and you look at the look at the Ascension fights, the whole Ascension system, you can wait until Thursday night to do all of your minion attacks, and then you can wait until Sunday night to do all of your your boss fights. And taking a look at this right here, like look what I'm doing. I clicked a couple of buttons, and then I click auto and speed up, and then I look and I'm talking to you guys. And this is gonna take 20 seconds to complete that fight, and then I'm gonna do it again, and another 40 to 60 seconds to complete these 2 fights, and I'm done with the Ascension system for the day. Now I can go deeper into it if I wanted to spend a little bit of money or emeralds to roll the dice to get more materials. But for a bolt-on skill edition and a bolt-on stat edition for these heroes, which is something that a lot of people complain about. People, this is just a one more thing that you have to level up for the heroes. Absolutely true. It doesn't take that much time at all. And whenever you look at the pet system, you do an adventure, and it doesn't take that long to do an adventure. Now there are some adventures, like Adventure 10, for example, that's very tedious, but it's not very time consuming. And this is a guild structured activity. Now there's a lot of money invested and time invested into these 2 systems to complete them, right? But you're absolutely right, Finkelzo. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and you can skip the fight. You're 100% true that you can just skip the fight. It's a lot less time intensive than this, Settlers of a Catan based game. And I would argue that as a whole, Facebook has considerably fewer bugs, considerably fewer problems with the game. Boats aside, would you sum up TC as a 3-guild war? Yes. 3 guilds versus 3 guilds. But you can attack as many times as you want, and it lasts for 3 days instead of 1 day.